back there?
Oh, yeah.
Is there anything else I should say?
No, let's get this thing on the road. Right? All right, here we go. I'm going to do the house lights. And here we go. It's time to go. And here we are, Wool Radio. And stage 33 live. And Wild Goose Players proudly present Truman Capote's Christmas Memory Radio Show. Around the corner, there's a rainbow in the sky. So let's have another cup of coffee. Let's have another piece of pie.
Trouble's just a bubble, and the clouds will soon roll by. So let's have another cup of coffee, and let's have another piece of pie.
Let us smile be your umbrella, for it's just an April shower. Even John D. Rockefeller is looking for a silver lining. Mr. Herbert Hoover says there's now the time to buy. So let's have another cup of coffee, and let's have another piece of pie. Let's have another piece of pie. And wait for the clouds to roll by.
Imagine a morning in late November, a coming of winter morning more than 20 years ago. Consider the kitchen of a spreading old house in a country town. A great black stove is its main feature, but there's also a big round table and a fireplace with 2 rocking chairs in front of it. Just today, the fireplace commenced its seasonal roar.
A woman with shorn white hair is standing at the kitchen window. She is wearing tennis shoes and a shapeless gray sweater over a summery calico dress. She is small and sprightly, like a bantam hen, but due to a long, youthful illness, her shoulders are pitifully hunched. Her face is remarkable, not unlike Lincoln's, craggy like that, and tinted by sun and wind. But it is delicate, too, finely boned, and her eyes are sherry-colored and timid. "Oh, my," she exclaims, her breath smoking the window pane. "It's fruitcake weather."
The person to whom she is speaking is myself. I am 7. She is 60-something. We are cousins. Very distant ones, and we have lived together, well, as long as I can remember. Other people inhabit the house, relatives, and though they have much power over us and frequently make us cry, we are not, on the whole, too much aware of them. We are each other's best friend. She calls me Buddy, in memory of a boy who was formerly her best friend. The other Buddy died in the 1880s, when she was still a child. She is still a child.
I knew it before I got out of bed. The courthouse bell sounded so cold and clear, and there were no birds singing. They've gone to warmer country. Yes, indeed. Oh, Buddy, stop stuffing Biscuit and fetch our buggy. Help me find my hat. We've 30 cakes to bake.
It's always the same. A morning arrives in November, and my friend, as though officially inaugurating the Christmas time of year that exhilarates her imagination and fuels the blaze of her heart, announces...
It's fruitcake weather. Fetch my buggy. Help me find my hat.
It's,
Where's the hat? Find the hat. We forgot the hat. Do you have the hat?
But doesn't somebody have a hat?
You don't have the hat. Where? Oh, it's over there. Oh, there's the hat. Isn't it?
No, we actually have lost the hat. Oh, my God. This was supposed to be a bit.
Hold on. I think I see a hat.
Well, there you go. There it is.
The hat is found. A straw, cartwheel corsaged with velvet out of doors, has faded. It once belonged to a more fashionable relative. Together, we guide our buggy, a dilapidated baby carriage, out to the garden and into a grove of pecan trees.
The buggy is mine. That is, it was brought for me when I was born. It is made of wicker, rather unraveled, and the wheels wobble like a drunkard's legs.
But it is a faithful object. Springtimes, we take it to the woods and fill it with flowers and herbs and wild fern for our porch pots. In the summer, we pile it with picnic paraphernalia and sugarcane fishing poles and drag it down to the creek for some fishing. Has winter uses, too. As a truck for hauling firewood from the yard to the kitchen, as a warm bed for Queenie, our tough little orange and white rat terrier, who has survived distemper and 2 rattlesnake bites. Queenie is trotting beside us now.
3 hours later, we are back in the kitchen, hulling a heaping buggy load of windfall pecans. Our backs hurt from gathering them. How hard they were to find among the concealing leaves, the frosted, deceiving grass. Crackle. A cheery crunch. Scraps of miniature thunder sound as the shells collapse and the mound of golden, sweet, oily ivory meat mounts in the milk glass bowl. Queenie begs to taste, and now and again my friend sneaks her a mite, though insisting we deprive ourselves.
We mustn't, buddy. If we start, we won't stop. And there's scarcely enough as there is for 30 cakes.
The kitchen is growing dark. Dusk turns the window into a mirror. Our reflections mingle with the rising moon as we work by the fireside in the firelight. At last, when the moon is quite high, we toss the final hull into the fire and, joined with sighs, watch it catch flame. The buggy is empty. The bowl is brim full.
We eat our supper, cold biscuits, bacon, blackberry jam, and discuss tomorrow. Tomorrow, the kind of work I like best begins. Buying. Cherries and citron, ginger and vanilla and canned Hawaiian pineapple, rinds and raisins and walnuts and whiskey, and oh, so much flour. Butter, so many eggs, spices, flavorings. Why, we'll need a carriage to pull the pony, a pony to pull the buggy home.
But before these purchases can be made, there is the question of money.
Neither of us has any.
But one way or another, we do each year accumulate Christmas savings, a fruitcake fund. These monies we keep hidden in an ancient bead purse under a loose board, under the floor, under a chamber pot, under my friend's bed. The purse is seldom removed from this safe location except to make a deposit or, as happens every Saturday, a withdrawal. For on Saturdays, I'm allowed 10 cents to go to the picture show. My friend has never been to the picture show, nor does she intend to go.
I'd rather hear you tell the story, buddy. That way I can imagine it more. Besides, a person my age shouldn't squander their eyes. When the Lord comes, let me see him clear.
In addition to never having seen a movie, My friend has never eaten in a restaurant, traveled more than 5 miles from home, received or sent a telegram, read anything except for funny papers and the Bible, worn cosmetics, cursed, wished someone harm, or let a hungry dog go hungry.
Here are a few things she has done, does do. Killed with a hoe the biggest rattlesnake ever seen in this county. 16 rattles. Dip snuff, secretly. Tame hummingbirds, just try it, till they balance on her finger. Tell ghost stories, we both believe in ghosts. So tingling they chill you in July. Talk to herself, take walks in the rain, grow the prettiest japonicas in town, know the recipe for every sort of old-time Indian cure, including a magical wart remover.
Now, with supper finished, we retire to a room in a faraway part of the house where my friend sleeps in a scrap quilt-covered iron bed which is painted rose pink, her favorite color. Silently, wallowing in the pleasures of conspiracy, we take the bead purse from its secret place and spill its contents onto the scrap quilt.
Dollar bills.
Tightly rolled and green as May buds.
Somber 50-cent pieces.
Heavy enough to weight a dead man's eyes.
Lovely dimes.
Oh, the liveliest coins. The one that really jingles.
Nickels and quarters.
Worn smooth as creek pebbles.
But mostly a hateful heap of bitter-odored pennies. Last summer, others in the house contracted to pay us a penny for every 25 flies we killed. Oh, the carnage of August. The flies that flew to heaven. Yet it was not work in which we took pride.
And as we sit counting pennies, it's as though we're back tabulating dead flies. Neither of us has a head for figures. We count slowly, lose track, start again. According to her calculations,
We have $12.73.
According to mine, exactly $13.
Oh, I do hope you're wrong, buddy. We can't mess around with 13. The cakes will fall, or put somebody in the cemetery. Why, I wouldn't dream of getting out of bed on the 13th.
This is true. She always spends 13ths in bed. So, to be on the safe side, we subtract a penny and toss it out the window.
Of the ingredients that go into our fruitcakes, whiskey is the most expensive, as well as the hardest to obtain. State law forbids its sale, but everybody knows you can buy a bottle from Mr. Ha Ha Jones.
ha! Da-da-da-da-dum, da-da-dilly-da-dum, da-da-do, I dilly-da-day, da-da-da-da-dum, da-da-dilly-da-dum, da-da-do, I dilly-da-day, da-da-da-da-dum, da-da-dilly-da-dum, da-da-do, I dilly-da-day, dilly-da-dum, da-da-dilly-da-dum, da-da-do, I dilly-da-day.
And the next day, having completed our more prosaic shopping, we set out for Mr. Ha Ha's business address, a sinful, to quote public opinion, fish fry and dancing cafe down by the river. We've been there before, but on the same errand, but in previous years, our dealings have been with Ha Ha's wife, a woman with brassy, peroxided hair and a dead-tired disposition. Actually, we have never laid eyes on her husband, a giant with razor scars across his cheeks.
They call him Ha Ha because he's so gloomy, a man who never laughs. As we approach his cafe, a large log cabin festooned inside and out with chains of garish, gay, naked light bulbs, and standing by a river's muddy edge under the shade of river trees where moss drifts through the branches like gray mist, Our steps slow down. Even Queenie stops prancing and sticks close by.
People have been murdered in Ha-Ha's cafe, cut to pieces, hit on the head. There's a court case coming up next week.
Naturally, these goings-on happen at night when the colored lights cast crazy patterns on the Victrola whales. In the daytime, Ha-Ha's is shabby and deserted.
I knock at the door. Queenie barks.
Mrs. Ha-Ha? Ma'am? Anyone to home?
Footsteps. The door opens. Our hearts overturn. It's Mr. Ha-Ha Jones himself. And he is a giant. He does have scars. He doesn't smile. No, he glowers at us through Satan-tilted eyes and demands to know.
What do you want with Ha-Ha?
For a moment, we are too paralyzed to tell. Presently, my friend half finds her voice, a whispery voice at best.
If you please, Mr. Ha-Ha, we'd like a quart of your finest whiskey.
His eyes tilt more. Would you believe it? Ha-Ha is smiling, laughing too.
Which you use the drinking man?
It's for making fruitcakes, Mr. Ha-Ha. Cooking?
This sobers him. He frowns.
That's no way to use good whiskey.
Nevertheless, he retreats into the shadowed cafe and seconds later appears carrying a bottle of daisy yellow unlabeled liquor. He demonstrates its sparkle in the sunlight and says,
$2.
We pay him with nickels and dimes and pennies. Suddenly, as he jangles the coins in his hand like a fistful of dice, his face softens.
Tell you what.
He proposes, pouring the money back into our bead purse.
Just send me one of them fruitcakes instead.
Well, there's a lovely man. We'll put an extra cup of raisins in his cake.
The black stove, stoked with coal and firewood, glows like a lighted pumpkin. Egg beaters whirl. Spoons spin round in bowls of butter and sugar. Vanilla sweetens the air, ginger spices it. Melting, nose-tinkling odors saturate the kitchen, suffuse the house, and drift out into the world on puffs of chimney smoke. In 4 days, our work is done. 31 cakes, dampened with whiskey, bask on windowsills and shelves.
Who are they for?
Friends, people who have struck our fancy, like President Roosevelt, like the Reverend and Mrs. J.C. Lucy, Baptist missionaries who came and spoke last winter about their travels to Borneo, or the little knife grinder who comes through town twice a year, or Abner Packer, the driver of the 6 p.m. bus from Mobile, who exchanges waves with us every day as he passes through in a dust cloud whoosh. Or the young Wistons, a California couple whose car one afternoon broke down outside the house. Is it because my friend is shy with everyone except strangers that these strangers and mere acquaintances seem to us our truest friends?
The kitchen is empty. The cakes are gone. We're broke. But my friend insists on celebrating with 2 inches of whiskey left in Ha-Ha's bottle. Queenie has a spoonful in a bowl of coffee. She likes her coffee chicory flavored and strong. The rest we divide between a pair of jelly glasses.
catch you in a taxi, honey. Better be ready about 8:30. No, baby, don't be late. I'm gonna meet you when the band starts playing. But when we get there, honey, 2 steps in, we're gonna have a ball. Gonna dance all over. So when the days of Jello blues, I'm hard of night after dark till it's
Enter 2 relatives.
A child of 7. Whiskey on his breath.
Are you out of your mind?
Feeding a child of 7.
Must be loony.
Road to ruination.
Remember Cousin Kate?
Uncle Charlie.
Uncle Charlie's brother-in-law?
Shame.
Scandal.
Humiliation.
Kneel.
Pray.
Beg
the Lord.
This is me. Oh, yes. Beg the Lord. Yes, there we are. Queenie sneaks under the stove. My friend gazes at her shoes, her chin quivers. She lifts her skirt and blows her nose and runs to her room. Long after the town has gone to sleep and the house is silent, except for chimings of clocks and the sputter of fading fires, she's weeping into a pillow as wet as a widow's handkerchief.
Don't cry. Don't cry. You're too old for that.
It's because I am too old. Old and funny.
Not funny. Fun. More fun than anybody. Listen, if you don't stop crying, you'll be so tired tomorrow we can't go cut a tree.
She straightens up. Queenie jumps on the bed, where Queenie is not allowed, to lick her face.
I know where we'll find real pretty trees, buddy. And holly, too, with berries big as your eyes. It's way off in the woods, farther than we've ever been. Papa used to bring us Christmas trees from there, carry 'em on his shoulder. Well, that's 50 years ago. Well, now I can't wait till morning.
Morning. The sun balances on the horizon, burnishes the silvered winter woods. A wild turkey calls. A renegade hog grunts in the undergrowth. Soon, by the edge of knee-deep, rapid-running water, we have to abandon the buggy. Queenie wades the stream first, paddles across, barking complaints at the swiftness of the current, the pneumonia-making coldness of it. We follow, holding our equipment, a hatchet and burlap sack above our heads. A mile more of chastising thorns, burrs, and briars that catch at our clothes, of rusty needles, brilliant with gaudy fungus and molted feathers.
Here, there, a flash, a flutter, an ecstasy of shrillings remind us that not all the birds have flown south. Always the path unwinds through lemony sun pools and pitch-black vine tunnels. Another creek to cross. A disturbed armada of speckled trout froths the water around us. And frogs the size of plates practice belly flops. Beaver workmen are building a dam. On the farther shore, Queenie shakes herself and trembles. My friend shivers too, not with cold but enthusiasm. One of her hat's ragged roses sheds a petal as she lifts her head and inhales the pine-heavy air.
We're almost there. Can you smell it, buddy? She says, as though we were approaching an ocean.
And indeed, it is a kind of ocean. Scented acres of holiday trees, prickly-leafed holly, red berries, shiny as Chinese bells. Black crows swoop upon them, screaming. Having stuffed our burlap sacks with enough greenery and crimson to garland a dozen windows, we set about choosing a tree.
It should be twice as tall as a boy, so a boy can't steal the star.
The one we pick is twice as tall as me.
A brave, handsome brute that survives 30 hatchet strokes before it keels with a creaking, rending cry. Lugging it like a kill, we commence the long trek out. Every few yards, we abandon the struggle, sit down, and pant.
But we have the strength of triumphant huntsmen. That and the tree's virile, icy perfume revive us, goad us on. Many compliments accompany our sunset return along the red clay road to town. But my friend is sly and noncommittal when passers-by praise the treasure perched in our buggy. What a fine tree! And where did it come from?
Yonder ways.
Once, a car stops, and a rich mill owner's lazy wife leans out and whines,
"Give you 2 bit cash for that old tree."
Ordinarily, my friend is afraid of saying no, but on this occasion, she promptly shakes her head.
We wouldn't take $1.
$1? Goodness, 50 cents. $1, that's my final offer. No, 50 cents. Goodness, woman, you can get another one.
I doubt it. There's never 2 of anything.
Home. Queenie slumps by the fire and sleeps till tomorrow, snoring loud as a human.
A trunk in the attic contains a shoebox of ermine tales off the opera cape of a curious lady who once rented a room in the house. Coils of frazzled tinsel gone gold with age. 1 silver star. A brief rope of dilapidated, undoubtedly dangerous, candy-like light bulbs. But my friend wants our tree to blaze.
Like a Baptist window.
We can't afford the made-in-Japan splendors at the 5 and dime, so we do what we've always done. Sit for days at the kitchen table with scissors and crayons and stacks of colored paper. I make sketches and my friend cuts them out. Lots of cats. Fish, too, because they're easy to draw. Some apples, some watermelons, a few winged angels devised from saved-up sheets of Hershey bar tinfoil. We attach these creations to the tree. As a final touch, we sprinkle the branches with shredded cotton. My friend, surveying the effect, clasps her hands together.
Now, honest, buddy, doesn't it look good enough to eat?
Queenie tries to eat an angel.
After weaving and ribboning holly leaves for our front windows, our next project is the fastening of family gifts. Tie-dyed scarves for the ladies. For the men, a home-brewed lemon and licorice and aspirin syrup to be taken at the first symptoms of a cold and after hunting. But when it comes time for making each other's gift, my friend and I separate to work secretly. I would like to buy her a pearl-handled knife, a radio, a whole pound of chocolate-covered cherries. We tasted some once and she always swears.
I could live on them, buddy. Lord, yes, I could. And that is not taking the Lord's name in vain.
Instead, I am building her a kite. She would like to give me a bicycle. She's said so on several million occasions.
If only I could, buddy. It's bad enough in life to do without something you want. But confound it, what gets my goat is not being able to give somebody something you want them to have. Only one of these days I will, buddy. Locate you a bike. Don't ask how. Steal it, maybe.
Instead, I'm fairly certain that she is building me a kite. Just like last year and the year before. The year before that, we exchanged slingshots. All of this is fine by me, for we are champion kite flyers that study the winds like sailors. My friend, more accomplished than I, can get a kite aloft when there isn't enough breeze to carry clouds.
Christmas Eve afternoon, we scrape together a nickel and go to the butcher's to buy Queenie's traditional gift, a good, gnawable beef bone. The bone, wrapped in funny paper, is placed high in the tree, near the silver star. Queenie knows it's there. She squats at the foot of the tree, staring up in a trance of greed. When bedtime arrives, she refuses to budge. Her excitement is equal to my own. I kick the covers and turn my pillow. Somewhere, a rooster crows, falsely, for the sun is still on the other side of the world.
Buddy, are you awake?
It is my friend, calling from a room which is next to mine. And an instant later, she's sitting on my bed, holding a candle.
Well, I can't sleep a hoot. My mind's jumping like a jackrabbit. Buddy, do you think Mrs. Roosevelt is going to serve our cake at dinner?
We huddle in the bed, and she squeezes my hand. I love you.
Seems like your hand used to be so much smaller. I guess I hate to see you grow up. When you're grown, will we still be friends?
I say always.
But I feel so bad, buddy. I wanted so bad to give you a bike. I tried to sell my cameo Papa gave me. Buddy, she hesitates as though embarrassed. I made you another kite.
Then I confess that I made her one too.
Sailing in on Christmas Day, on Christmas Day, as all the ships been sailing in on Christmas Day in the morning.
The candle burns too low to hold. Out it goes, exposing the starlight. The stars spinning at the window. But daylight comes. Possibly we doze. But the light of daybreak splashes us like cold water.
And what was in those ships all three on Christmas Day, on Christmas Day? And what was in those ships all three on Christmas Day in the morning?
We're up, wide-eyed and wandering while we wait for the others to waken. Quite deliberately, my friend drops a kettle on the kitchen floor. I tap dance in front of closed doors. One by one, the household emerges, looking as though they'd like to kill us, but it's Christmas, so they can't.
And all the bells on earth shall ring on Christmas Day, on Christmas Day. And all the bells on earth shall ring on Christmas Day in the morning.
First, a gorgeous breakfast. Just everything you can imagine. From flapjacks and fried squirrel to hominy grits and honey in the comb. Which puts everyone in good humor except for my friend and I. Frankly, we're so impatient to get to presents we couldn't eat a mouthful.
I saw three ships come sailing in on Christmas Day, on Christmas Day. I saw three ships come sailing in on Christmas Day in the morning. I saw three ships come sailing in on Christmas Day, on Christmas Day. I saw three ships come sailing in on Christmas Day in the morning.
Well, I'm disappointed. Who wouldn't be? With socks, a Sunday school shirt, some handkerchiefs, a hand-me-down sweater, and a year's subscription to a religious magazine for children. The Little Shepherd. It makes me boil. It really does.
My friend has a better haul. A sack of satsumas, that's her best present. She's proudest, however, of a white wool shawl knitted by her married sister. But she says her favorite gift is the kite I built for her. And it is very beautiful, though not as beautiful as the one she made me, which is blue and scattered with gold and green good conduct stars. Moreover, my name is on it, Buddy.
Buddy, the wind is blowing.
The wind is blowing. And nothing will do till we've run to the pasture below the house where Queenie is scooted to bury her bone. And where, a winter hence, Queenie will be buried too. There, plunging through the healthy waist-high grass, we unreel our kites, feel them twitching at the string like skyfish as they swim in the wind. Satisfied, sun-warmed, we sprawl in the grass and peel satsumas and watch our kites cavort. Soon, I forget the socks and the hand-me-down sweater. I'm happy as if we'd already won the $50,000 grand prize in that coffee naming contest we entered last month.
My, how foolish I am, my friend cries, suddenly alert, like a woman remembering too late she has biscuits in the oven. You know what I've always thought? She asks in a tone of discovery, and not smiling at me, but a point beyond. I've always thought a body would have to be sick and dying before they saw the Lord. And I imagined that when he came, it would be like looking at the Baptist window. Pretty as colored glass, with the sun pouring through. Such a shine you don't know it's getting dark. And it's been a comfort to think of that shine, taking away all the spooky feeling. But I'll wager it never happens. I'll wager at the very end a body realizes that the Lord has already shown himself. That things as they are, her hand circles in a gesture that gathers clouds and kites and grass and Queenie pawing at the earth for her bone. Just what they've always seen was seeing him. As for me, I could leave the world with today in my eyes.
It's good to have a friend who will defend you to the end. Help you walk a straight line when you're drunk. Help you move and pack a trunk. Send you postcards from the places of their life with a note of sage advice. It's good to have a friend you can depend on, that you can call on, that you can fall on. It's good to have a friend that's right around the bend, a friend that can lend you a buck, a friend that will buy a round or two, 3 or 4. Don't push your luck, don't push your luck, don't push your luck, don't push your luck. It's good to have a friend that'll listen to the end of all the stories you've told so many times.
Oh, not that one again!
It's good to have a friend you can depend on, that you can call on, that you can fall on. It's good to have a friend that's right around the bend, a friend that will defend you to the end. A friend that will defend you to the end. A friend that will defend you to the end.
This is our last Christmas together.
Life separates us. Those who know best decide that I belong in a military school. And so follows a succession of miserable, bugle-blowing prisons, grim reveille-ridden summer camps. I have a new home, too. But it doesn't count. Home is where my friend is. And there I never go.
And there she remains, puttering around the kitchen, alone with Queenie, and then alone. Buddy dear, she writes in her hard-to-read script.
Yesterday, Jim Macy's horse kicked Queenie bad. Be thankful she didn't feel much. I wrapped her in a fine linen sheet and rode her in the buggy down to Simpson's pasture, where she can be with all her bones.
For a few Novembers, she continues to bake her fruit cakes single-handed. Not as many, but some. And of course, she always sends me the best of the batch. Also, in every letter, she encloses a dime wadded in toilet paper.
See a picture show and write me the story.
But gradually, in her letters, she tends to confuse me with her other friend, the buddy who died in the 1880s. More and more, 13ths are not the only days she stays in bed. A morning arrives in November, a leafless, birdless coming of winter morning, when she cannot rouse herself to exclaim, "Oh my, it's fruitcake weather."
And when that happens, I know it. A message saying so merely confirms a piece of news some secret vein had already received, severing from me an irreplaceable part of myself, letting it loose like a kite on a broken string.
That is why, walking across the school campus on this particular December morning, I keep searching the sky, as if I expected to see, rather like hearts, a lost pair of kites hurrying toward heaven.
Some bright morning, when this life is over, I'll fly away to that home on God's celestial shore. I'll fly away. I'll fly away. Oh, glory, I'll fly away in the morning when I die. Hallelujah, by and by, I'll fly away. When
the outside way. In the morning when I die, hallelujah, by and by, I'll fly away. I'll fly away. I'll fly away.
John Hadden.
Come on.
Apparently there was a sign that said if you want to mingle afterward, stay in the chat. We're going to mask up, so.
Also, this performance was recorded and will be broadcast several times during the season as we approach the main event, one of the main events, and so tune in. Also, it's going to be on video here and there. So I want to just extend a ton of thanks to Mark here at stage 33. Who was magnificent. Ira for lights, thank you, Ira. And Evan, who outfitted us with mics for the radio show. And they're going to be doing a ton of work after this to fix it. So thank you. Thanks for coming.